There are a number of sources that say that our physical illnesses, our diseases, our sicknesses come from energy within ourselves, that it comes from emotions that we have within ourselves that are maybe suppressed emotions or negative thought patterns that we repeatedly think, or ideas and beliefs that we have, our mindsets that stem from within that actually create our physical illnesses. Now, is this true? Well, let's take a look and see if there can be truth to this. Now, I have played with this in my own personal life and have had success with this, which I'll share that example at the end. But for starters, I'm going to show you some of these sources. I'm not going to read from them, but there's a book by Louise Hay called Heal Your Body. She was a big proponent on changing your emotional state, your mindset, and your beliefs so that you can physically heal your body. She actually cured cancer within herself, and pretty amazing stuff. Here's another book called Anatomy of an Illness by Norman Cousins. Also has a really cool story. Another book that verifies this methodology or this idea is Esther and Jerry Hicks in the book Money in the Law of Attraction. Funny that the book is called Money in the Law of Attraction because they do talk a lot about health in here as well. Another book by Carol Trueman that really taps into this concept, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. Another book called The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, where it's about releasing suppressed negative emotions that we have in our bodies. Another book with a very Christian perspective on the matter, but really hits hard, very similar to some of these other books. This one's called A More Excellent Way. Now, I'm not a super religious person, but there is a lot of really good information here that falls right in line. Really good book, a lot of really good information. Another book that touches on this concept is called The Healing Code by Alexander Boyd and Ben Johnson. The reason I show all of these sources is because this is a pretty hard to believe topic for most people. And it can be kind of a big deal, really, to have that kind of a mindset change. All these sources really all stem around the same idea. And I think it's important to see outside sources verify that maybe this could be true. There's been more and more research done on this, which is explained in a lot of these books. Another one is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about this methodology as well. And you can see people breaking the barriers of what we think is possible, like Wim Hof. So I definitely think that there's something to it. Now, the idea is that our negative beliefs that we hold within ourselves create negative emotions also within us. For example, let's say you have a belief, it's just something simple. Let's say you believe that cats are bad, and you've had a really bad experience with cats at one point in your life. You had some traumatic event in your life with a cat in the past, and now you carry this belief with you that all cats are bad because of this experience you had with this one cat. Maybe it attacked you and scratched you up a bit. And so you had this kind of traumatic event. You felt a lot of negative emotion with this event. And now you have a belief that cats are bad, and you have a fear of cats. Well, that belief within us, it becomes a part of our genetic makeup and who we are. And as we carry that belief with us, that emotion also carries with the belief. And if we continue to have that belief that's going to negatively affect our health, it actually creates a stress response within our body. Every time we encounter cats or see cats, we're going to resurface that negative emotion from that traumatic event. This is why I believe it's so important that we have forgiveness. Because if we can forgive, in this example, that cat for what it did and let it go, we can then heal and start thinking, well, maybe not all cats are bad. Maybe cats are actually really good. I just had that one bad experience. Because there's people who have bad experiences with everything, and there's people who have positive experiences with everything. And so maybe I can let that go. And when we forgive the cat or the person or whatever it was that hurt us, we can then start releasing that negative energy. And when we do, it opens up the floodgates for more positive energy to come through us, which has a healing effect. When we have negative beliefs and negative thoughts and those negative emotions, we actually pinch off God's life force, his flow of love energy to us, therefore causing disease. A great analogy I like to say on this is if you have a garden hose and it's hooked up to the house and you're using this garden hose to plug into a sprinkler to water your yard, the yard is like us. The hose is like the stream of God's love to us that source energy. The house where it's coming from is the source in which it comes from. Now, if we kink the hose and the water is no longer able to flow through and water the yard is going to die. It's not going to die instantly, but in time, that yard's going to die without getting any water. That grass needs water to survive. So we are like the grass, and the hose is like that stream. And our negative beliefs and thought patterns and negative emotions are like when we kink the hose. And we kink it a little more every time we embody these negative mindsets. And so we want to make sure that we are clearing ourselves of negative emotions as much as possible so we can unkink that hose. Now, this is not, the concept is simple, but it's not necessarily easy. It can take time because our ego, our lower self, wants to hold on to these things because of pride. We want to be right, and we want to protect ourselves because the cat example, we want to protect ourselves from cats that have hurt us, so a lot of fear will come up. It's not an easy thing necessarily, but it's 100% worth it, and anybody can do it. Now, bear in mind, I am not a doctor. Always seek a doctor for professional advice with any health issues, okay? So take my word for face value in these sources as well. Always see a doctor. Keep my legal disclaimer here. But I have found this to be true in my own personal life. And a quick story I want to share with you that shows the validity of this is I used to suffer from severe cystic acne. I mean, severe. I had it worse. I saw one other person one day in my life that had it what seemed to be worse than me. And I don't even know that it was acne. It looked like it might have been something else because it was really, really not good. And I felt really bad for this person because I suffered with it bad. As you can tell, it's not so visible on camera, but depending on the camera angle, sometimes too, you can really see the scarring on my face, but I have a lot of scarring on my face. And to make a long story short, at one point, finally came to the realization as I had been studying this type of material, what emotions were causing my severe cystic acne, my breakouts. The emotion behind it was that I hated my face. I hated the way I was presented to the world. I didn't like it, and I was ashamed of myself and my face and the way that I looked. Once I started realizing that, I was actually just in my garage working on my t-shirt business. This was a number of years ago. And once I realized that, and I started saying, I love my face to myself while I was working. And it was really hard to say it at first. I had never even had that thought process. And I was like, wow, I'm having a hard time saying this. I love my face. I felt fear in saying it. It was difficult to allow the energy to flow in that direction. But I kept saying it. I love my face. I love my face. I love my presentation to the world. I love the way that I look. I love me. I love my face. And as I started saying that, I stopped getting breakouts. Before that, I had already cleared it up quite a bit because I had been through a lot of emotional healing. This was really bad when I was like a teenager in my early 20s and a good chunk of my 20s into closer to my 30s even. And I thought I had fixed it with diet. I had other things that I thought were helping. But when I found out that it was this energy within myself, I mean, it completely cleared up. And now if I ever do get a breakout, like something on my face anywhere, I always remember, oh yeah, I love my face. And I remind myself. And it used to be in the past when I would get a breakout, it would last for like 2 weeks. Now if I get a breakout, it lasts like a couple days because I know what the energy is now. And I can counter that energy with the opposite positive to that negative. And so I love my face. I love the way that I look to the world. And there are still days I'll see the scarring on my face and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could heal that scarring. But then I remind myself, but you know what? It's okay. I love my face. I love my presentation to the world. But once I realized that, I mean, game changer, 99% cleared up. Amazing. And there's other areas in my life I've been working on. I won't go into all the stories in this one that I have definitely noticed improvement when it comes to getting the flu, when it comes to getting like the cold, a head cold, etc. I've been able to see the different energies that are associated with that for myself. And it is a little different for everybody. We all have to do the inner work, and it can take time. This is not an overnight thing. But once we zone in on what it is, we can have pretty fast results. Anyways, this is my experience with it, and I don't want to make anyone who's suffering from a severe illness, I don't want to make anyone feel like I'm putting it down in any way, shape, or form, because I know illness is not an easy thing, but I truly believe that if we can start changing our mindset in time, we can cure any disease within ourselves. There are so many miracles we can read about that have happened, and in all of these books there's stories of people who have done this as well. So my challenge would be for you is to start doing some inner work, reflecting on yourself. What negative beliefs do you hold? Who are you still mad at? Who do you need to forgive in your life? What do you need to let go? What can you start replacing? What old negative thought patterns can you start replacing with new beliefs? Maybe about yourself or about other people, situations or circumstances. And try to heal yourself from the inside out. I know it has a positive healing effect anyway. No matter what, it's going to make you feel happier because you're letting stuff go. So if you guys have any comments or experiences you have had, leave a comment down below. I know this can be kind of controversial. Like I said, I am not a doctor. This is just my own experience and what I've learned from a lot of this material. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this content. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future uploads. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.